evening and welcome to this edition of the Evening News for today, Saturday, August 31st, 2024. I am Jarrell Bryan. Thank you for tuning in. In the headlines, Guyana to record 42.3% GDP growth in 2024 as non-oil economy continues to expand. The end of an era, President Ali on passing of Sir Shridath. Government expends $900 million for school supplies, cash grants ahead of new term. Enabling environment lauded as Citizens Bank opens new $1.8 billion branch. And Berbice FISHERFOK affected by waste oil from power ship, grass from CANJE River. Now for the news in detail. The People's Progressive Party Civic PPC government has upped its full-year projections for Guyana's gross domestic product GDP growth to 42.3%, an 8% increase from initial projections that point to impressive performances from the non-oil economy. Details in our lead story tonight.
The half-year report was recently released by the Ministry of Finance, showing that in the first 6 months of 2024, Guyana experienced a whopping 49.7% increase in its gross domestic product (GDP). And for the entirety of 2024, it is projected that Guyana will see 42.3% GDP growth, which is an 8% above the initial 34.3% projection. This comes on the heels of impressive performances from the non-oil economic sectors, which are now projected to expand by 11.8%. In an early morning broadcast to the nation from the Seawall Bandstand on Saturday, President Dr. Irfan Ali delved into these non-oil economic performances. For instance, agriculture, forestry and fishing sectors are estimated to have expanded by 7.6% in the first half of this year. This was driven by growth in all subsectors, namely other crops, rice growing, livestock, fishing, and forestry.
Mining and quarrying sector is estimated to have grown by 64.3% in the first half of the year, driven by growth in the petroleum and other mining industry. But when you look at quarrying, in the second half of this year, we anticipate a number of new quarries to commence operation. So we see the remainder of this year and 2025 as important years in the quarrying sector. Out of COVID, the last 2 years, 2 to 3 years, the project conceptualization stage, the studies and pre-production work for a number of quarries would have been completed, and those quarries are now going to come into operation.
He also spoke of the mining industry, which has started to bounce back amid the government's efforts to clamp down on the illegal gold trade. The gold industry is now expected to grow by 2.1% this year, despite a contraction in the first half.
The gold industry also had a contraction of 10.3% in the first half of 2024. Given the challenges faced in the first half of the year, which include the drought, lack of water, many of the miners could not have worked, the challenges in their mining area, and of course also, as you know, we launched a specific initiative targeting the illegal sale of gold and non-decoration. And as a result of a combination of measures, we have seen improvement in the last 6 weeks.
President Ali spoke of the growth in the construction sector, which he attributed to government and private investments, as well as the policies implemented. Meanwhile, the petroleum sector recorded over 60% growth in the first half of this year.
The petroleum sector grew by 67.1%, with 113.5 million barrels of oil produced in the first 6 months of this year. The industry is now expected to grow by 56.4% for the entire year.
Jarrell Bryan, The Evening News.
Condolences have been pouring in to Guyana following the passing of Sir Shridath Ramphal, who died on Friday at the age of 95. Sir Shridath, born on October 3, 1928, in New Amsterdam in the then British Guyana, was a towering figure in international diplomacy and a cherished elder statesman of the Commonwealth and the Caribbean. Sir Shridath's distinguished career spanned numerous pivotal roles in the field of international politics and diplomacy, notwithstanding his local service as Minister of Justice and Foreign Affairs and Chancellor of the University of Guyana. In his later years, Sir Shridath continued to serve with distinction. At 92, amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, he was the first lawyer to appear virtually before the International Court of Justice, representing Guyana in the ongoing border controversy with Venezuela. These were among the host of contributions that were highlighted by the Commonwealth and CARICOM Secretariats, as well as opposition leader Aubrey Norton, the Alliance for Change, and President Dr. Irfan Ali. According to Ali, the passing of Sir Shridath marks the end of an era. He said Sir Shridath's life was one of magnificent service, not only to his homeland, but to the Caribbean region and the world. Here is more from the Guyanese head of state.
It is a sad day because we have lost a giant among men, an outstanding soul, a Guyanese, a remarkable internationalist, a son of the soil. The passing of Sir Shridath Ramphal marks the end of an era, not only for Guyana, but for the entire Caribbean and the Commonwealth of Nations. We mourn the loss of an outstanding statesman, a regionalist par excellence, and a committed internationalist. Guyana recalls with deep appreciation his unflagging commitment to defending Guyana's territorial integrity and sovereignty, his efforts before the International Court of Justice and the Tribunal of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea were not just a service to the nation. They were acts of supreme and selfless devotion to the land that nurtured him. He was deservedly the recipient of Guyana's highest national award, the Order of Excellence. As Secretary General of the Commonwealth, he stood tall against the injustices of apartheid, becoming a voice for the oppressed and a champion for justice and equality. His firm opposition to apartheid rule will be remembered as one of the defining aspects of his illustrious international career. His contributions went beyond the Commonwealth, shaping the international relations with his wisdom and leadership. The Caribbean, a region that was always close to his heart, benefited immensely from Sir Shridath's dedication to regional integration. His efforts helped the Caribbean secure its rightful place in global negotiations, protecting and advancing the interests of our member states. Sir Shridath Ramphal was more than a statesman. He was a gem of Guyana, a towering figure in the Caribbean, and a respected leader in the Commonwealth. His loss is deeply felt, but his legacy will continue to inspire generations to come. Guyana has lost one of his finest sons, and the Caribbean and the Commonwealth a giant among men. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family during this time of grief. We stand with them, celebrating the life of a true legend, Sir Shridath Ramphal.
In keeping with his commitment to support teachers and advance the provision of high-quality education across the country, government has expended some $900 million on the school supplies cash grant for teachers ahead of the new school term. Trishelle Sobers joins us with the details.
The school supplies cash grant provides $4,500 per student for teachers in regions 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, and Georgetown, while those in regions 1, 7, 8, and 9 will receive $5,500 per student. For the new school term slated to begin on September 2, some 969 schools across the 10 administrative regions in Guyana were provided with various sums of money totaling $900 million. In a brief interview with this newscast on Saturday, Minister of Education Priya Manikchand explained that the grants allow teachers to prepare and maintain their classrooms as they see fit by purchasing the janitorial, office, and field supplies.
Schools have already received their grants, This is just a grant for the Christmas term, which is from September to December. And as you can see, it is about close to $1 billion. Where there's small schools, there is a limited number, there's a lowest number. So if a school has 10 children, it doesn't mean they'll get 45,000 because they'll still have that 45,000 can't match. So there's cut off lower limit that I think is 200 and something. I can't remember what it is, but the smaller schools would have more than 4 or 5 per child.
Over the years, some regions gave grants to schools and the goods were bought in bulk, but teachers said things that they already had were being stocked up, meaning actual needs were not met and items were delivered after long periods of waiting. Minister Manikchat added that teachers and parents have over the years complained about having to provide the materials for classrooms from their own pockets. However, due to this intervention, educators are no longer required to do so.
So the government took a decision to, from central ministry, make schools autonomous by giving them school grants that would allow them to purchase what they want in the quantity and at the quality they wanted for every term. Now that has limits. What you want has to be school related. And I can say for sure that schools have never received supplies this early before we started this program, which was 2 terms ago.
Meanwhile, as the new school term is set to begin on Monday, September 2, there will be delayed openings for 23 schools in the public education system. In a memorandum dispatched by the Education Ministry, it was revealed that affected schools include Potentia, iFlood, and Vredenhoop secondary schools for grades 7 to 9. Additionally, the St. Ignatius Nursery, Amelia's Ward Student Dormitory, Westwood Tuka Day Primary, and Head Start Nursery are among others affected. According to the ministry, the delayed openings are as a result of setbacks in rehabilitative works being conducted at the various institutions. Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
Coming up on the other side of the break, enabling environment lauded as Citizens Bank opens new $1.8 billion branch. Please stay tuned.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality? Or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Sadco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store. Located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rhymeville.
Welcome back. You're watching the Evening News. Citizens Bank Guyana Inc. has opened up a new billion-dollar branch on Mandela Avenue in an expansion made possible through the government's efforts to create an enabling environment coupled with the modernizing of the architecture and infrastructure to support the local banking sector. Luanda McAllister has more.
Located at the intersection of the Aubrey Barker Road at Mandela Avenue, the new $1.8 billion Citizens Bank branch is a relocation of its Thirst Park operations and will commence operations from Monday, September 2nd. Managing Director Eaton Chester said the new branch contains many modern features and services, all designed to cater to efficiency, safety, and security, as well as comfort of the bank's growing customer base. This expansion, he added, was fostered by the enabled environment created by the government.
The new Mandela branch office comes at an appropriate time and is an achievement that ensured from the strategic plan of turning the bank into one of Guyana's premier financial services providers. Additionally, it certainly fulfills our sincere need and desire to provide our services in an environment that reflects the value the bank places on its staff, customers, and other stakeholders. I believe that it would be remiss of me if I were not to underscore the fact that banking in Guyana is sustainable and operates in an enabling environment. And it is my firm belief that the growth of the banking sector is often indicative of growth in the economy.
Meanwhile, President Dr. Irfan Ali stated that the expansion of this commercial bank highlights the soundness of the local banking and financial systems.
This is a bank that has exercised sound leadership and management, has been able to grow and expand its operation, and today is celebrating the opening of a new branch. It also tells us that our banking system is sound, our financial system is sound. This soundness is a result of sound planning, is a result of creating the enabling environment and a constant modernization of the architecture and infrastructure to support banking.
According to the head of state, as Guyana's economy continues to grow, the banking sector needs to develop more innovative products and services.
We rely more on the banking sector to innovate and to develop more products at less cost to help us to have the population access government services and government products in a more efficient, reliable, and safe manner. As the economy grows, we'll be developing more products. More benefits will go to the population. And the financial system, the banking sector, must be innovative, must not be reactive, but must be proactive in planning a system to meet this eventuality in our economy.
Luanda McAllister for the Evening News.
Following the widespread impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, the Guyana government, through the Health Ministry, has forged a new partnership with the United States Center for Disease Control that will see more health practitioners benefiting from specialized training to build the local response capacity. Details in this Trishelle Sobers report.
The partnership between Guyana's Health Ministry and the United States Center for Disease Control aims to bolster Guyana's clinical capability to manage life-threatening events and develop capacity to properly examine disease outbreaks, as well as respond better to epidemics and pandemics. In a recent interview with this newscast, Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony explained that the training will be conducted in country and abroad.
This is a new partnership we have. So maybe in the next couple of months we'll have a couple of people going out for training. There are different types of fellowships and so that CDC would offer. I think in the first instance we are doing maybe like a 3-year, and then after that, maybe look at renewing it. This is also building on work that we would have done independently.
Further, Through Guyana's partnership with the United States Center for Disease Control, the Health Ministry will develop a public health emergency management action plan. The plan is a comprehensive discipline focused on anticipating, mitigating, planning for, responding to, and recovering from all types of public health emergencies. About 2 weeks ago, representatives from the CDC South American Regional Office, Deputy Director of Strategy and Science, and CDC Division of Emergency Operations visited Guyana and completed a joint external evaluation for the plan. According to Dr. Frank Anthony, the plan will outline a roadmap for training and technical assistance to develop, improve, and sustain Guyana's PHEM program.
The public health emergency plan is really to assess our capacity to respond to emergencies, such as if you have an outbreak of a particular disease, what you need to do, what capacity you need to have, the types of people that can be you should have in a response team. They should have the technical capability of going out there, assessing, and then helping us to respond in the most appropriate manner. So we've started this with this workshop.
Dr. Anthony added that the action plan will beef up security and decrease the spread of infections. Trishelle Sobers, Evening News.
Fisherfolk operating in the Berbice River are up in arms over damages to their equipment caused by huge chunks of cut grass floating out from the CANJE River. In this Michael Henry report, you will hear that concerns were also raised about waste oil from the power ship at Everton polluting the Berbice River. Here is more.
During a recent engagement with Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa, Chairman of the East Bank Berbice Fishermen Coop, Risharam Ramkisoon, noted that he recently attended a meeting with the regional officials where it was agreed that the grass on the CANJE River would be cut into 10-foot portions and allowed to float out. He said while that decision was taken, he suggested that the grass is not allowed to float out of the CANJE River and into the Berbice River.
The same spray one going to end up when the stuff come out of the river, impeding the progress of fishermen. Now we can see it now today, this morning I went to the map of the whole entire Berbice River is grass. The whole entire river. I don't know what's going on there. We have some island coming out from this river here, from CANJE. You can go barge, even fresh a barge. This stuff are 20 feet in length. With the agreement was 10 feet square.
Minister Mustafa, who was at the time engaging a wide cross-section of farmers on the east bank of Berbice, noted that the issue has been an old one, but systems have been put in place to negate the impact the cut grass is having on the livelihood of fisherfolk who ply their trade in the Berbice River.
What Ramkisoon is raising in this comment that raised just now, that we get 20 feet of grass coming out of the CANJE, that is absolutely unacceptable. I will ensure that I call the contractor, I know them myself, because the contract now has been awarded by NDIA. And we have to ensure that they abide with the agreement that they have to cut the grass in smaller chunks and at the same time maintain it more regularly because they are being paid for 4 cleaning. Before they used to be paid for 2, and the region used to do it. The president instructed that we give them 4 cleaning so that the grass, the thickness of the grass will not be that amount when the army cut it.
Meanwhile, the Agriculture Minister was also told that the Berbice River is being polluted by waste oil deliberately dumped into the river.
The power plant that are borrowing, they throwing out Berbice oil from that ship, and the Berbice oil end up in the water and chase the fish out from the area. The power plant that they are throwing fuel in the river, that is bad. I will talk to the Prime Minister and I will talk to the head of GPL. They should not, and they will, it's not unacceptable to throw oil in the river, to pollute the river.
Michael Henry, The Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge will be closed to vehicular traffic on Sunday, September 1, 2024 at 3 hours 15 for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed at 15 hours 55 on Sunday, September 1, 2024, also for a period of 1.5 hours.
Guyana Amazon Warriors starts title defense on high in last ball thriller. This and more coming up in the Sportscast after the break.
Gold mining can be expensive if you don't have the right tools. Mining requires engines that can pump high volumes of water and slurry, the most tried and tested of which are Doots engines. Doots engines are among the most reliable in the world. Where can you get them? At your #1 industrial solutions provider, Sylvies. We have them in 2 to 6 cylinders, ranging from 23 horsepower to 80 horsepower. Most miners use Doots engines because they're lightweight, use less fuel, and require less maintenance because they are air-cooled. So what are you waiting for? If you can't make it to our 31 High and Hatfield Streets Georgetown location, we can deliver. Give us a call on 227-6226 or WhatsApp us on 623-7755 or visit our website sylviesonline.com. Sylvies Industrial Solution, proudly serving Guyana for over 4 decades.